Oh, do I have something fantastic for you guys today. It is the new Z900, and this little colorway actually looks pretty damn good. But what's more important is we have a slew of upgrades for this new bike. Obviously, up front most noticeable would be that really cool looking dashboard. We are up to date. Look at that cruise control and everything, guys. Let's hear this thing start up. The last time I rode this, I could not stop smiling. Hell yeah. So cool. What a great looking motorcycle.
This one does have quick shift up and down, different modes. Sport mode is in now.
Hell yeah.
Go to a lesser aggressive mode, hold that mode button down for 3 seconds, you see it goes to road.
Okay.
Main mode and also a rider mode.
Nice.
The rider mode is the one that you program with rideology. That's all.
Oh, cool. Right on.
This bike.
Awesome. Thanks, Coop. So cool. A slew of new electronics, ladies and gentlemen. Quick shifter up and down with our auto blip, which is awesome. Obviously rider modes, and let's look at this. I am straight up flat footing, knees bent, 5'10", 32-inch inseam. The last time I rode the Z900 before all of these upgrades, I could not stop smiling the entire time. But ergo-wise so far, very comfortable, very easy to see out of the mirrors, which is cool. And like I said, super flat footing. The seat, as Kawasaki always has, multiple different seats you can buy to change out which seat you want, which is badass. We do have adjustability here in our forks.
GP here.
Yeah, baby.
Taking them over to Laguna, John.
God, wouldn't that be rad to ride this bike at Laguna Seca? And of course, thanks guys to Central Coast Yamaha for letting us do this. Pretty rad. It is really hard for us to get demo days. I don't know what you guys think about this new styling. I think it looks badass. That little new front nose is awesome. This is a downright good looking motorcycle. Oh baby. Man, first thing up front, I wonder if I said that about the last Z900. I'd have to look. You can see my last video if you want to compare, because I will probably be comparing this motorcycle directly to that one. But I think it was it's really just like how you can manipulate the handlebars here. Like right now they are, in my opinion, like kind of swooped up, where I think pulled down a little bit. These things, whoa, bitch, yeah. Oh man, yes please. Oh yeah, quick shifter, auto blipper, fan-freaking-tastic, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sitting here trying to complain about the handlebars, and it's like, F those things. This thing is badass. I could rotate the handlebars down later. Oh, so cool. But like ergos, like my ass is sitting flat on the back portion of it. I'm not being slammed up against the tank, which is fantastic. And this 2025 version has so much more to offer than what we had in the last version. Now we are full drive-by-wire, no more wires driving our throttle, which means we get two major things for this motorcycle. One, cruise control. Once you start getting to drive-by-wire, you can easily get stuff like that because you're electronically controlling the throttle, which is pretty badass. And something that has over the years like struggled to be amazing, but it is definitely getting there now. Oh Jesus, that thing wants to come up so bad. That front end is just like, woo! Yeah. Yeah. The hell was I even talking about? Drive-by-wire, guys. It gives us an easy ability to have things like cruise control and auto blippers, like downshifting without touching a clutch, which means it's revving the engine for you to rev match and downshifting the motorcycle. Freaking badass. No need for a clutch. Oh my god, there's so much power. Yes. Oh man, you will get in trouble on this motorcycle, guys. Honestly, this is not a beginner motorcycle. Now I know there's probably plenty of you out there that have purchased a motorcycle like this, a Z900 or something of the sort, as your first motorcycle. But let me tell you guys, go get on something smaller and learn before you get on this death rocket ship. This is freaking badass. Okay, up front suspension, yeah, but Like, you can see it's diving quite a bit on me, and I definitely don't like that. But that is, we do have some adjustability. We have tension there, which should be rebound. And I'd have to look to see if we have anything else. But I see rebound as a option for adjustment, which is cool. But hopefully we have compression on here. I'll have to look that up for you guys to see if we have a compression adjustment and maybe like the static sag. But there is quite a bit. Like, if I push this bike hard, I would easily go through that suspension. So that is something that is kind of negative in my opinion on the motorcycle. But geez, listen to the sound of that thing, guys. This is stock motorcycle, no exhaust system. If this thing had an exhaust, like, I'm not gonna lie, the Kawasaki Twins 650s, 400s, they all have a sound with that 180 crank that I do not like. But this thing's not going to provide that sound for you guys. Oh man, could you imagine? An exhaust on this thing would be absolutely sick. So yeah, the next adventure here is some back roads for this thing. I think ergonomics, I didn't talk much about those, but let's talk about them right now. So I have a lot of room in here, which is cool, which means I can shove my ass to the back seat. I like that. I don't like being locked into the motorcycle. I want some freedom of movement, and this bike gives me that, which is really cool. Next thing would be is my rear sets. My rear sets, which means where my foot pegs are, basically, those are a little more aggressive than a common, like, sport naked motorcycle, in my opinion. They're a little bit far back. I would say they're about mid of my ass, with my ass tucked to the back seat, which means I'm getting a little more aggressive bend in my knees, which, me personally, I'm okay with that. Long distance riding, debatable, but you could also heel ride for a while to, like, unstretch the knees, basically. So the comfort there, I think, is there, but the aggressiveness of it is also there. As for the rest of the rider triangle, where my arms are at, I don't mind it, but I would say the first thing I personally would do to this motorcycle is loosen up this clamp and lower these things, because they feel kind of like this, where I'm like doing this, versus I would rather have them maybe a little flatter and a little out more, make it a little less, you know, way up here. But that's just a simple adjustment, and that could just be how it was put together from the factory, like easily changed to be more comfortable. Or get yourself some nice pro taper bars or whatever at whatever length, height you want. Common thing to do to a motorcycle like this, and definitely something I would do if I bought this thing. I don't know what you guys think. Look at the styling of this front nose. This looks freaking rad. Finally, a sport naked motorcycle that is not butt effing ugly as sin. Good job, Kawasaki, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. I think this tail looks really good, and that front end looks absolutely amazing. For rider cockpit looks, like that dashboard, that is freaking awesome. I like this little wind piece here. It is doing way more than I expected it to do. And then, of course, like, the visuals of this tank here, the color scheme of the bike, and these awesome little like fairing pieces that are sticking out. It's an enjoyable, like, cockpit experience, if I'm making any sense. Now, obviously, Kawasaki mirrors, I've never been a fan. They work really well. So look-wise, I never really liked them. But some bar end freaking mirrors on this thing would be awesome. So hopefully, if we get enough speed in us, we can have a little bit of fun. But now that I'm tipping it over, interesting. It is definitely very, very playful. More playful than I expected it to be. Almost, I want to say almost too playful. Because I think there is that fine line between, like, little bit dip and versus, like, holding line. And then I think that a lot of different motorcycles will give you a different feeling with steering. And that was something I was just recently, you know, like, really loving about my 2025 Yamaha R3. Super stable as hell, yet very playful. It seemed like it was in that perfect line of, like, playfulness versus heavy stability on the road, which I thought was pretty rad. And that Ninja 500 I just rode, I could tell it wasn't as good as that little R3 when it came to that. I know, small, minor things, just little things I notice as I ride different motorcycles all the time. My R7 versus my Aprilia Tuono, Jesus, night and day. My R7 was like driving a boat versus the Aprilia's ability to just lay over and feel amazing doing it. Yeah, I'm not getting that on this bike. I'm not getting that feel. It seems like it's more towards the playful, like easy flick than it is for stability. So what that would mean for me to fix that, I would definitely have to have a steering damper on this motorcycle, because I know I would get way too aggressive with it and I wouldn't want to get into those tank slappers. So I would probably put a steering damper on this motorcycle. But with that, with me saying all of that, I'm not dogging the bike as in it's not worth buying because of that. I am saying that it is something worth noting, that it is a very easy tank over side to side motorcycle, very, very flickable. People hate that word. Just so like you owner, like a little too much in my opinion. I'm gonna get off that now. Oh gosh, that quick shifter auto blipper, by the way, it works fan-freaking-tastic. I think all I do is smile and just laugh about the motorcycle the whole freaking time. I am sorry, guys. There's absolutely zero, I mean zero, lack of usable power in this motorcycle. I'd love to get it up in the higher rev range to see if we're still pulling, because it is a sport naked. It is designed to give you tons of power down low, be a hooligan, be able to fall over really easily, and it's checking all of those marks quite well. Hopefully on the freeway I'll get to see if we're still pulling on the higher ends of the RPM range, but for having a 2025 brand new version of the Z900, they did an absolutely fantastic job, in my opinion. Across the board, very, very cool motorcycle. And let's face it, like cruise control, like as much as we don't really need it, there are so many times where it is amazing. The thought that they even threw the quick shifter auto blipper on here, that's huge, guys. That is a big deal. So who is this motorcycle for? I'm very sorry to be blunt, but this is not a beginner motorcycle. Not at all, guys. Do not buy this for your first bike. Not to say that there isn't a chance you will survive, but there's so much more to be learned on a smaller motorcycle than this freaking thing. This is an experienced rider's motorcycle. You need to have a few years under your belt, and you need to be ready for something like this. Now, don't get me wrong, it is slaughtered with all of the fancy goodies, the ABS, traction control, all the good things on a motorcycle that help it for safety. Yeah, it's here. So you could potentially, I'm not saying you should do this, but if you were dead set, I need to have this motorcycle as my first motorcycle, turn the damn sport mode off, go to a low setting, high traction control, make it as safe as possible. What I want you to be aware of is, just because you can lower the parameters from sport down to something like an individual or rain, or you know, rain's probably the safest mode to probably ride it in when you're new, but that still only reduces so much of your throttle and power of the motorcycle. A lot of the bikes that allow that to happen will still give you their full potential. They just give them to you a little bit slower. So you still have to be careful. I'm not saying this is a beginner, go buy this. But yeah, I mean, if you're dead set, hey bro, this is my bike, I don't give a shit what you say. Just be careful. Be careful. And have a ton of fun, because I have not yet been able to wipe the smile off my face on this test ride, and we are finally about to get on the freeway with this thing, and that is going to be freaking rad. We need to test out like basically how bad is the air going to hit us. Can we ride for a long time? We know that the motorcycle is very comfortable, and can we ride it for a long time? Definitely. But that wind beating the crap out of you can also be a different story. And it's freeway time. Yeah, I think I talked too much crap about like the steering angle of it, like how it's not unstable. I don't want to like push that to you guys. It is not a stable motorcycle. It is just very playful. Oh my god. Jesus, that was fourth gear shift and it wanted to freaking lift up. That is insane. Oh man, okay, let's get to some freeway driving where 65 is 70 miles an hour, 4,500 RPM. Yeah, no vibrations whatsoever. This is fantastic. Wind-wise, this little guy's doing a good job. I'm sitting up right now and I can feel it around my neck. That's really, really good in my opinion. I was just riding the ZX6R and the new Ninja 500. Those are fairing motorcycles. This is what I was feeling with those. That is awesome. So whatever this little guy's doing, I can only imagine, like, I'm sure Puig is going to make something that would go a little bit higher and you would be like good to go. So surprisingly, for a sport naked motorcycle, yeah, actually feels pretty good on the freeway when it comes to the wind damage. And I think honestly, like, this thing is so tiny right here, it's just covering the amazing looking new freaking monitor here, but like, it's doing a really good job at protecting some wind. That is very shocking to me. Very, very shocking. This might even be an acceptable commuter on the freeway with a decent Puig on it. And a sport naked. Hooligan Adventures, and obviously it handles freeway amazing. I don't even think you'd have to downshift with this thing, honestly, if you want to just aggressively pass and you were in 6th gear. You'd probably just smoke by things. So cool. What a fun freaking motorcycle, guys. I'm sure it's gonna take a few hours to wipe the grin off my face. But I hope this was a useful review for you guys. What a freaking rad little motorcycle. And comparing it to the previous version, what a worthy upgrade, in my opinion. So far, what a freaking rad bike. And thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I hope you got a little bit out of this, and I'll see you next week. Bye!